Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about appraisals, something that comes up a lot for us. Basically, what's the difference between a home inspection and an appraisal? Easy answer, the home inspection is something that the buyer's going to do for their own knowledge and informational purposes so that they know what they're buying. It's not required by the bank. Typically, it's not something that the bank even has anything to do with. The appraisal, however, is something that's required by the bank, and although it's paid for by the buyer, its primary use is to establish the value of the property so that the lender knows that they're not loaning you more money than what the house is worth. Makes sense. Depending on the type of mortgage, there can be some conditions that they're looking for in the property itself. This is usually surface level stuff. Their investigation is not nearly as in-depth as a home inspection in most cases. Again, they're loaning you money for a house. They just want to make sure that the house is livable and that it's safe to a point where they can't be held liable if something would happen to you as the buyer or someone else in that house. Another question that comes up a lot, and this kind of takes it to the next level, the appraisal contingencies or appraisal contingency addendums. If you're using a mortgage, do you have to have that appraisal contingency in your agreement? And if you're a seller and you receive an offer from a buyer who's using a mortgage and there's no appraisal contingency, what does that mean? So there's many different interpretations of this. If you talk to multiple brokers and ask this question, you'll probably get slightly different answers. What you do need to keep in mind is that any contingency or clause in the agreement of sale is an agreement between the buyer and the seller. It's not an agreement between the seller and the bank or the mortgage company. It's not an agreement between the buyer and the mortgage company. An appraisal contingency is simply the buyer reserving the right to terminate the sale if the appraised value comes in lower than a set amount. That amount could be the purchase price or it could be some other amount. If you find yourself in a termination dispute regarding an appraisal contingency, you're definitely going to want to consult a real estate attorney immediately. The best way to avoid these potential disputes or negative situations during your transaction, have your agent clarify with the other party what their intentions are around the appraisal and get it in writing. If you have any other questions about appraisals and what you can do to use the appraisal contingencies to get yourself the best deal possible, whether you're buying or selling, please reach out to our team at wemovepittsburgh.com or on our Facebook page, the Riley Smith team. Thank you.